Welcome to this reception phonics presentation. The aim of this session is to explain to parents how we teach phonics in reception using a program called Read Write Inc, and also to explain to you how you can help as parents or carers at home. So, as you can see, this is a systematic program that we as a school have used for the last 9 to 10 years. Read Write Inc has been around for even longer than that, and is a nationally recognised phonics program approved for use in schools. Phonics is described as the first and best way to start your child reading. We also add in high frequency words to this process, but teach these at a different time of the day and in a different way, so as not to confuse the children. The program essentially teaches 3 key skills and relies on building up children's short-term memory through using picture hooks or mnemonics to help the children with their memories. The 3 key skills are, first of all, children learn the sounds of individual letter shapes, graphs, and then digraphs, which is 1 sound or 2 letters, and then trigraphs, which is 1 sound or 3 letters, and remember them. Children then learn how to blend sounds to make a word, i.e. combine individual sounds to make a word when reading. After that, children learn how to segment a word, i.e. break it down into individual sounds in order to spell words. We use picture cues like the A for apple, or snake, or dinosaur, or Maisie and 2 mountains. So these are the ways that we help the children to get a hook for their phonics. Children pick up the sounds very quickly as they're taught in a very patterned and repetitive way. Some children tune into this very quickly, whilst for others it might be their first opportunity to engage with this type of learning. All of the children revise all of the sounds they are taught each day, and consequently they build up their working memory. We do this as classes in the first week, so we can see who is getting to grips with phonics and who might need more time to consolidate. We teach the order of sounds in a very systematic way. These are the set 1 sounds. In week 1, we do a, s, d, t. Week 2, I, n, p, g, o. Week 3, k, k, a, b. Week 4, f, e, l, h, sh. Week 5, r, j, v, y, w. And week 6, f, z, ch, qu, x, ng, nk. All very strange sounding sounds, but as you will note, I'm not using the names of the letters, I'm using the specific sounds that the children will need to learn in order to help them with their reading and writing. Every phonics lesson has a very distinct structure. First of all, the teacher says the sound, Then the teacher shows picture cards with words and pictures that begin with the sound. Mouse, mountain, moon, mirror. The teacher then shows a large card with the letter we are focusing on that day and says the words Maisie, mountain, mountain, Maisie, mountain, mountain. The card has the letter shape, the graph, on one side and the picture cue on the other. Teachers play a simple game to help the children remember the relationship between the sound and the picture. Then the teacher writes the letter shape, modelling correct letter formation and pencil grip. All letters start from the top of the letter and either go around in a certain direction or go down. All letters have a join at the end in preparation for when they start to join their handwriting, which is usually around the end of year 2. Children write the letter in the air and then into their Read Write Inc book. This work is practiced incidentally throughout the day, and it is revised every day in each phonics lesson and at other times also. Children are then taught how to blend sounds, i.e. how to run the sounds into each other to make a word. For example, p-a-n, pan. The first 3 levels of Read Write Inc concentrate on these skills and usually take up to 3 blocks of teaching to master. If children move on more quickly, we make sure that they're moved on to groups at their level. When children have learned all of the set 1 sounds and are starting to blend those sounds, we move them on to the level of Ditty Books. These books are then used in the lessons and they have very short decodable passages of writing, and in this way they practice using the set one sounds with their basic reading skills of blending. We look at these books in lessons and then we send out paper books for you to borrow. So what we hope is for children in reception, for some children this will happen just after Christmas, and for most children hopefully by the end of spring term. But by the end of reception, the expectation is that most children will be reading simple books like this. As children progress through the programme, they are taught more sounds, still linking to those basic set one sounds, the 44 common sounds in the English language. Children in reception sometimes reach these levels and they'll be taught set 2 and set 3 sounds once they've learned set 1. This then matches digraphs and trigraphs to the existing single letter sounds that the children have already learned in set 1. The books that they then read will reflect this challenge with more digraph and trigraph words in the books. In the first 6 weeks of teaching phonics in reception, we do a lot of swapping children around so we can make sure that they get into the right groups for teaching. We also make sure that we catch children up as they go along in these first 6 weeks through things like pinny time, which is where teachers and TAs carry the letters around with themselves and show the children and flash them at the children so that they can catch up, so they're constantly exposed to this new learning. And at the end of that 6-week period, we assess each child and their knowledge of the sounds taught, and on the basis of this create smaller groups so that the teaching is more refined and focused to individual need. As this is a programme, you will understand that there are expectations of how children will move through the programme, but please do not be too concerned with stages. Children learn at different rates, and we are more concerned with making sure each child gets the right teaching at the right time so that they can make progress. In reception, by the end of the year, green stage means that they know all of the first 44 sounds and the related graphs and digraphs, and can use them to read simple books in the Read Write Inc. programme. A significant number of children reach the stages above purple, pink, orange and yellow, and particularly purple and pink. And we make sure that each child is then planned for and are in the appropriate groups to get the teaching that they need to make progress. These children are taught set 2 sounds, and if your child is in these groups, we can let you know what digraphs and trigraphs they are learning. This leads me on to homework. A key way for you to help your child and to know what sounds they are learning is to help them do their phonics homework. This should only take a couple of minutes and should happen at a time when your child is in a positive frame of mind. Build it into their after-school routine at a time that you know works for you and your family. You should always read the sound and ask your child to read it to you. Practice saying the mnemonic using the picture cue to help them remember the sound. For example, Maisie, mountain, mountain. This will always be included in the book to help you. Trace right over the sound. Move your finger over the letter shape to model how to write the sound. And then ask your child to have a go at writing the sound independently a number of times. When your child is onto the red Ditty Books, we will send home paper copies of that book for your child to have a go at reading to you. Obviously, the key ways that you can help your child are the way you help your child with all things. Attendance and punctuality are critical. Because the programme follows on day after day after day and is systematically built on it, if your child misses a day, they miss the teaching of that sound that day. Please make sure you bring your child to school on time, because the focus of the lessons starts at 9:10 when all the children are in school. Ask your child about what they've learned in the read writing session and get them to teach you. Please make sure you use the sounds of letters, not letter names, when sounding out new words. Obviously, in these first few weeks, use lots of praise to make them feel that they're being really successful. And share books at home anyway. Do any reading that you can, because children often notice the words and the letters that they've been learning at school when they're looking at the book. Because this is a national programme, you can get lots of resources for the programme online. We would recommend the key thing for you to get are the phonic flashcards that the teachers use in school for you to practice with at home. As you can see, you can get them on Amazon, you can buy them in WH Smith's, and are around about £5, which is not a huge amount of money. There are lots of other resources that go with this. If you want to get them, that's fine. We really don't use them at school. We really stick to the phonic flashcards. Those are the key things that we use, as well as the other related Ditty books. If you've got any questions about the phonics programme, always best to talk to your child's class teacher at the end of the day. I hope this has been useful. As always, if you've got any specific questions about your child, please address those to the admin inbox, and we can always find out and make sure that we get in contact with you personally. Thank you very much. I hope this has been useful. Take care.